And then yesterday we find out that Diane Keaton had passed away. And so we wanted to stop, talk a little bit about her, do a Mount Rushmore of Diane Keaton. Zach, you had a really cool Facebook post I saw that kind of honored Diane Keaton. So I'm going to let you start off with talking Diane Keaton and what's going to be your submission to the Mount Rushmore.
Well, what I said on my post was something akin to, I don't remember a time in my movie watching life that Diane Keaton wasn't a part of it. I want to say Father of the Bride was one of the very first movies I can remember seeing. I mean, I think I saw that maybe when I was like 5 years old. I might have seen it in a theater. And then, along with obviously The Godfather, when I was 12 or 13, I first saw Annie Hall. I mean, this woman, it's hard to fathom a movie watching life without Diane Keaton in it. And so her loss today, I mean, she was 79 years old. So I guess that's a full life, but it was kind of shocking because it seemed like she'd been pretty active these last few years. What had really kind of changed the trajectory of her career a little bit was I didn't really see a whole lot of those recent movies that she did in the last 10, 12 years. A lot of them were kind of chick flicks, almost kind of like a lot of rom-coms, but she was a great TV guest. I mean, she was awesome whenever she was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, when she was on Jimmy Kimmel several times. She had this great persona that seemed totally unfiltered, like a grandma that had a little too much wine. Actually, she would drink wine. It's a little unfortunate. I can't drink wine because I'm on school premises today, but if I were not, I would be drinking the drink that she created, which was called the Keaton. She had a brand of wine. This lady was so entrepreneurial. And the thing with the Keaton was you had to drink it with an ice cube. So she was amazing and just so fun, so charismatic, great to watch. And, she was kind of kooky in real life, but she was a great, serious, dramatic actress. And so my nomination for the Keaton Hall of Fame is not going to be the obvious pick because everybody's talking about Annie Hall. It's the movie she won her Oscar for. I want to go with a slightly lesser known movie that she made 5 years after Annie Hall that I've actually talked about on this podcast before. It's a movie I really like called Shoot the Moon, directed by Alan Parker. And it stars her and Albert Finney, and they are a couple that is in the midst of a very bitter divorce. And it's, you could do any genre she wanted, but it's actually a very serious movie. And she's terrific in it. She's just perfect. And the movie, it's one of the few movies that has ever kind of made me rethink of Kramer versus Kramer as my best movie, because Shoot the Moon has a lot of parallels with Kramer versus Kramer. The end of Kramer versus Kramer is very, kind of happy, optimistic, upbeat. The ending of Shoot the Moon, which is also about a very bitter divorce with children involved, custody involved, is much more bitter, much more realistic. So I love that movie. I would also highly recommend her book. She's written a couple books, but I actually was reading through this last night. I read this about 10 years ago, her memoir, Then Again, which is primarily about her and her mother, but it's got some great stories in it. She actually mentions Sofia Coppola in this book because, of course, she played Sofia Coppola's mom in The Godfather Part 3. So I'm sorry, I know I've gone a little bit long, but I had tremendous feelings for Diane Keaton, R.I.P., la-di-da, one of the all-time great actresses, one of the all-time great human beings, and she will be dearly missed. Shoot the Moon, awesome movie that no one remembers.
Very nice. Well said. Todd, how about you?
Yeah, Diane Keaton's been in like a lot of my favorite movies. I'm not sure I've ever been like the biggest fan of her work, except for like the one movie I think she's amazing in. But like now, I like in the like Zach said, he hasn't watched a lot of the last 15 years or something like that. Like, yeah, I feel like all of her movies recently had just been like the stock character that could have been played by Susan Sarandon, Sigourney Weaver, or Mary Steenburgen. Like they're all like the same. But like back,
but you like those movies.
Like how wasn't she? How was she not an 80 for Brady?
Exactly. I like.
How was Diane Keaton not an 80 for Brady? That's what I want to know.
She was in book club.
Yeah,
but her best performance by far is in Reds, and that's what I'm putting up on the Mount Rushmore. I feel like a lot of the times my favorite performances by actresses isn't the one that people normally go to, but this one I feel like is the one that I feel like she truly disappeared into. And she's phenomenal, and it's a great movie, it's a big epic movie, but and she's not the main character, but I mean she's fantastic in that, and that deserves to be mentioned on her absolute best achievements. So Warren Beatty's Oscar win for directing in Reds.
One I've inexplicably never seen.
Yeah,
I still haven't gotten to Reds. I'll get there soon. I'll get there at some point, but I haven't gotten there yet. Adam, how about you?
Yeah. So when this got up, I remember seeing Diane Keaton quite a bit in my childhood because of one movie. But she's been in a lot of great stuff recently. She played like the mother in Finding Dory as Ellen DeGeneres' Dory's mother there. I remember I really was a big fan of Five Flights Up with her and Morgan Freeman as they had to move out of this old apartment. Kind of a more recent, kind of a more serious role. And last year, the year before, I watched a very good, fun '80s comedy called Baby Boom, which is another one that is she's really good in. But again, I wouldn't be true to myself if I wasn't going to put The Father of the Bride here. I'm probably the biggest fan of this film on the podcast. Her chemistry with Steve Martin is amazing.
I love that movie too, Adam.
Well, I know. Yeah,
we're gonna deep dive it next year. Get ready.
I absolutely love Father of the Bride, and whenever I think of Diane Keaton, I go to Father of the Bride. So for me, it has to be this performance and this character being on our podcast, Mount Rushmore. Even though there's so many good performances she's done, even like Something's Gotta Give, The Godfather, and Annie Hall, the big ones there too. So, but Father of the Bride for me is what I'm submitting.
All right.
One thing I was thinking about was like this kind of clinches the fact that the Family Stone should be our Christmas deep dive, right? Like, I mean, it'd be a first time watch for basically all of us.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I've seen it many times. It's a fine movie. It's not the best movie, but she is the clear, far and away MVP of that movie. It was probably her last great role, to be honest. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't object to that.
Let the people decide.
But sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about honorable mentions.
Jerry, what's your?
I wouldn't mind doing that. That makes a lot of sense if we bust that out.
I've never seen it either, so I'll be happy.
Yeah, Diane Keaton. It's interesting. She's this legend, and I just went through and looked, and she's got 74 credits on IMDb. I've seen 7 of them.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I just have
Godfather movies,
and 3 of them are Godfather movies. Exactly. Yeah. So I just haven't seen much of her stuff, which I was kind of shocked by. Yeah, 3 of them are Godfather movies, and 2 of them are voice performances. So that leaves like 2 movies.
Have you seen Father of the Bride?
No.
That was not our childhood.
Wow.
Yeah, you and I had similar childhood.
So then the only other ones that aren't Godfather movies, I guess there's 3 that I've seen that aren't Godfather movies or voice performances, and it's Annie Hall, Manhattan, and Something's Gotta Give.
Those are worthy.
Those are worthy ones. I'm gonna go I feel like we're kind of saying like we can't pick Annie Hall because Annie Hall is the pick.
Non-negotiable.
Like, that's the non-negotiable. So I'll go with the Godfather films. Like her performance as Kay in The Godfather is pretty amazing. She slowly builds to being more and more of a part of that story. But it's a really good performance. It's different from what her persona ended up becoming. In stuff like Something's Gotta Give, that felt more like it's grown up Annie Hall in some ways, right? But The Godfather is a very different performance, and you basically are Kay as you watch The Godfather and as you experience what Michael Corleone goes through, and that's what makes her so great in that. So I'm going with The Godfather, kind of the conglomeration of all of them together, and of course in Annie Hall, which is, I mean, it's basically her, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean she's tremendous in it, but she's tremendous. I mean, what really is not a real bad and again, I haven't seen a lot in the last 15 years, but I would even say like low-key Something's Gotta Give. She's amazing in that movie. I mean, that was every bit worth that Oscar nomination, and that's like a Nancy Meyers rom-com, and she's astonishing in that movie. I had an honorary pick that I can't really go with, but you guys might not know. She was a producer on Gus Van Sant's Elephant, which I've always found really interesting. And she did an interview on Charlie Rose with Gus Van Sant and Charlie Rose. And she talks a lot about why she chose to produce the film, what attracted her to it. I mean, this is as far away from like the kooky Diane Keaton persona as you can get. So, and she directed a movie. She directed Wildflower, which was Reese Witherspoon's first movie. So, I mean, she went outside of what we typically think of her, and she was a great writer as well, obviously fashion icon as well, and a great TV guest. Have you guys ever seen her on Jimmy Kimmel or Ellen? She's hilarious.
No, I hadn't.
Yeah,
I'll have to look those up.
Watch it.
But if I think about TV, what I think of with her is her being so excited to present
the Departed
the
one.
Departed with Jack Nicholson. It's like, oh, that was nominated. Wow. Like she was having fun that night. The one I will say that was on my watch list that I haven't gotten to yet. I recently picked it up on DVD. Mrs. Soffel, mid '80s with Mel Gibson. That's
Cool
one
movie.
that I recently picked up. Like, I've never heard of this movie before, and it's Mel Gibson and Diane Keaton. Let's go for it. So I have it on my shelf. I haven't watched it yet. I may try and watch it soon in tribute. Any of you other movies you want to shout out?
go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course, her other Woody Allen movies are great. My favorite Woody Allen movie is probably Love and Death. I mean, and that one she did even before Annie Hall, and like that movie is just wild, and she's obviously great in that. Her best Godfather performance is in Part 2, for sure. But the whole saga, if we have that on the list, is worthy. And of course, Manhattan. She's always great in those movies. And Manhattan, while she's not like the most important person in the movie or anything, like she still shines.
Yeah, good call. A lot of great mentions here. The one that I've seen that no one's said so far is 2010's Morning Glory, which also is a Ford Explorer. She was this close to getting a nomination for supporting actress. Actually, now that I go back and kind of reevaluate, like see that on the list, there it was a last minute cut, so she technically could have got at least a nomination, or at least a mention at our Pinos in 2010. So
and
she's really good in that.
She made some bad movies too, but she was good in the bad movies. Like,
Still good.
First Wives Club, not the world's greatest movie, but she's very entertaining and endearing in that movie. The Other Sister, an unwatchable movie, except for her presence in the movie, which is great.
Junior.
She had a great quest. Whenever she was on the Ellen show, she would talk about all the men that she'd kissed in Hollywood. She had a lot of things to say. She was extremely candid about her relationships with Warren Beatty and Jack. Well, she's never in a relationship with Jack Nicholson, but she always said she wanted to marry him. And Al Pacino was an asshole to her. If you want to read more about that, read Then Again. They broke up right around the time of Godfather Part 3. Yeah, just iconoclastic, great lady. Amazing. She had a great clip of her and Justin Bieber on Ellen on YouTube. Literally, I've watched like every single clip of her on Ellen on YouTube. I mean, it is a great deep dive. It is like 5 hours worth of footage.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
All right. So yes, R.I.P. to Diane Keaton. You will be missed.